these are some of the latest clips from the front lines, and I wanted to analyze them with you. The first we're going to start with is a clip of the Qassam brigades firing anti-tank guided missiles at Israeli troop carriers, APCs, armored personnel carriers, and tanks in the Gaza Strip. Now, usually we don't see Qassam brigades using ATGMs simply because they're clunky. You have to set them down. I mean, they usually use RPGs, but these are just as effective, if not more, and much more deadly. So let me just play the clip, and I'll give you more information about the weapon that they're using. So he's saying, we got 2 troops over there. They just got out. 2 just got out. Out of the back door. Ya Rab means oh God. Rab is another word for God in Arabic. So they're just saying oh God, oh God. That's it. Direct hit. There's another one.
ايوه تمام ارفع لفوق شوي يا الله اكبر.
So why do they film the helicopter at the end? The point of filming the helicopter, you'll see this often in videos released by the Qassam Brigade, is simply to prove, if you will, that they indeed killed and or wounded Israeli soldiers, because the helicopter is a medevac, it's a medical evacuation. It's used only in emergencies, and specifically that helicopter is a Black Hawk. So it's more, I mean, you can put guns on a Black Hawk, of course, but usually in this context, in Gaza, the Israelis use it almost exclusively for medevacs. It's troop transport. So another note also is, why don't they shoot the helicopters? Well, it's a violation of the Geneva Convention. Hamas are not into the habit of murdering medics, doctors, or medical convoys. The Israelis love shooting at ambulances and killing wounded people and bombing hospitals and violating the Geneva Convention on a regular basis. Hamas don't do that. And it's not just the Geneva Convention, because if you go back 1,000 years to Salah ad-Din, you'll find that he's infamous because he treated civilians, women, children, the wounded, prisoners of war mercifully. No torture, no execution, murdering them and violating them just because you have power over them. On the contrary. So, my point is just that Muslim and Arab armies have been following what you find in the Geneva Convention, which is barely 100 years old, for 1,000 years, right? So that's the reason. They're just filming it to show you they actually hit people. Now, these are Tiger, the armored personnel carriers, the APCs they just hit are Tigers. They're known as Tigers. We don't know how many troops were inside, but we know that they were certainly occupied, and their whole point is literally to carry troops. So what else do you expect? Now, the weapon that they fired at the APCs is a red arrow. It's basically it's a variant of a Chinese anti-tank guided missile. And here I'll try and show you a photo of it, because I think you saw it before briefly, but not clearly. So you can see here, it's essentially a variant of the HJ8, okay, which is a Chinese model, a make and model. Okay, that's it. So it's very common. You'll find all over the world people taking weapons that are produced in other countries and bettering them, improving them, and modifying them to their needs in their theater of war. So that's just what Hamas did with this one. It's basically, a Chinese-made HJ8, and then they modified it. This happened in Rafah, by the way. The clip I just showed you, this was in Rafah in Gaza, bordering Egypt. So I've got another clip to show you. This is from a Qassam sniper in Gaza, and he catches an Israeli soldier off guard while on a genocide mission. So this happened in Tal al-Sultan in Gaza, and they basically. Sorry, I'm talking about the next clip, by the way. I'm not the one I just showed you. The next one I'm about to play happened in Tal al-Sultan, and it's also the Qassam Brigade's sniping. He's a spotter and shooter. But actually, before I move on, did you notice in the last clip he shot him in the arse? Basically, I don't know if you saw that, but he really did shoot him in the arse. I think on the right side. If you pay attention to the right ass cheek. Forgive my French. It's nothing nice about it. Obviously, there's nothing nice about it. But these are people just defending themselves. They're just defending themselves in their homes from invaders. I mean, no one wants to do this. They're forced to, right? They don't do more than necessary. You'll notice that when they publish these clips, there are no civilians being hit. These are military targets exclusively, with receipts, with proof, with evidence. Not like Israelis bombing a hospital and saying, "Oh, trust us, bro. There was some Hamas people inside." Anyway, next clip is Tal al-Sultan, and also a recent one came out just yesterday.
Yes. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
So again, they're using the Roule sniper rifle predominantly in these operations, which is locally manufactured by the Qassam brigades, and it's this is, as they say, we have a phrase in English: "Mother is the need is the mother of invention." So I mean, when you're in a besieged strip of land and you're impeded from leaving by land, air, or sea, you're going to find ways to defend yourself from people who are numerically and perhaps technologically outnumbering and outdoing you. And this is one of those ways, is to craft your own weapons with your own weaponsmiths. And it takes a lot of work and a lot of refining. But these are just the things we have on video. So you can imagine what we don't have on video. And I find it astonishing that Israelis, their death count, the number of troops they've lost in Gaza doesn't rise. It barely rises. I mean, just if I can go back briefly to the APC video with the Nimr, this one. I would estimate you've got at least 5, 6, 7, maybe more casualties, okay, in this alone. And trust me, those things were cooked. Now, the Israelis will sit there and tell you, "Oh, no, the trophy system worked." The trophy system is essentially a mechanism on the turret where, it detects incoming projectiles, it clips out, you can see it activate, and then it will basically prevent the missile from actually impacting on the body of the tank and blow it up before impact. So, the astonishing thing is that they're not being activated in these videos, even though you can see that they fired the red arrow from a very, very large distance, right? So I think someone did the math on this, and if you calculate the speed of the ATGM and from the moment of, how long it took, just a simple calculation, right, of the number of seconds from firing until impact, I think they calculated 2.7 kilometers, something wild, and it doesn't activate. They just blew the thing to bits, and you saw the medevac coming afterwards. So definitely not working. And it shows you again, the Israelis don't have superior technology. They're being outdone by people under siege. But anyway, let's go to another clip. This is also from Gaza, also released in the last days. I think this came out just today, actually, and this is with their Yasin 105s, which are, again, kind of just their versions of the RPG-7. So you might be wondering what it says here. It says Tufan al-Aqsa. So basically, Ma'arakat Tufan al-Aqsa means the Battle of Al-Aqsa Flood, which is the operation that started on October 7th. So this is east of Rafah city. And just it says scenes of the Qassam brigades targeting armored vehicles of the enemy east of Rafah city.
الله أكبر الله أكبر ثورة للدماء الشهيد القائد بالحرب الهوية الله أكبر.
You see, he said in the name of God, and then he also basically he dedicated this to martyr Ismail Haniya, who, as you all know, was recently assassinated in Tehran. And there we go again. The medevac helicopter, the Black Hawk, is landing to take the wounded, and the D9 bulldozer is dragging the Merkava tanks away to try and repair them. There's another video that just came out also. This is from it's basically an additional video of the Death Trap series, although very, very short in size. And give me a second to download it for you, because I don't have it in full. I showed you one section of it with the snipers, but here's the rest of it. Yeah, so this is also in the vicinity of Hay Tal al-Sultan, so in Gaza as well. Yeah.
معاه سيشكوشه ومعاه كشاف معاه مخشين معاه مخشين
Yeah, and they said at the end here, the text underneath basically saying that they caused several injuries and deaths and casualties among the Israeli soldiers. This was on Friday, and you can tell from the video the green, yellow, and red markings, the dotted lines. This is a camera that's usually used, for parking. It's fashioned. It's not a surveillance camera, a traditional one. They've just fashioned something out of what they have, in the wreckage to meet their demands to booby trap and to sabotage Israeli forces invading them. So again, need is the mother of invention. So you can see these are people not in it, for military purposes to profit off of wars and make money. They're in it because it's defensive. They do it purely out of necessity, and doing it in they don't even have uniforms, and they're running around in sneakers without any form of protection. That's someone who's defending their land. The Israelis are coming in with all this gear that's been paid for by the West and gone into the pockets of the arms manufacturers. Pure colonial imperialist, occupation. Pure. So I want to underscore that difference because it's important. And, the Israelis, of course, say, oh, well, they're not, they're hiding among civilians because you can't tell from their clothes. They don't have military fatigues. No, the Vienna Convention says if you're unable to wear a uniform, you're fine in your civilian clothes. What are you supposed to do? Go fight in your, naked, bare naked in your, in your primitive state? Of course not. And again, this is the difference between a guerrilla resistance force and whatever, fantasy they've sold you on the BBC and CNN and Fox News about, terrorists this and terrorists that. These are guerrilla fighters. Legal. Justified under international law. There's no debate about it. So in any case, that's all we have from the front lines. I'll of course have all the latest, as the clips come out, but that's everything from this week, from the past few days. Again, YouTube demonetized my channel because I'm not allowed to say naughty things about Israel. Telling the truth is forbidden. So if you are able to donate a few dollars on PayPal or on a monthly basis on Patreon, please consider doing it because it would really help me continue my journalism and support independent media. So I'd be very grateful. And the links are in the description and also in the chat. Thank you guys very much again for all your donations.